Jen Roque here at stampcampwithjen.com. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Summerfield, Florida, and welcome to my weekly Facebook Live. Happy Martin Luther King Day. If you're new here, welcome and thank you for joining me. Every Monday I go live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It very rarely changes, but if it does, I make sure to post any updates on my Facebook page. So if you're new, please like and follow me on Facebook, so whenever there's a new notification or a video, you'll get notified of that video, okay? Hi, Jessica. As you're joining me, please say hello. Let me know what you're up to, how you've been. If you're watching the replay from my YouTube channel and you're new, welcome. And if you're joining me again, then welcome back. If you haven't yet, please like and follow me on Facebook and click that bell so you never miss a video. Hi, Kay. Welcome. Thank you so much for sharing the video. I really appreciate it. All right, so I have loads and loads of crafting inspiration that I'm going to share with you here in just a little bit. We had our monthly team meeting a few days ago, and we did a team card challenge. So I'm going to be showing you the card swaps that we did, or the girls brought, and then once I post the blog post for this video tomorrow around noon Eastern Time, I will put all of the Stampin' Up! Products used for each card under each photo of the card swap card, okay? So if you want to go back and look at that tomorrow at stampcampwithjen.com, you'll be able to see the Stampin' Up! Products that were used in the cards that I'm going to show you here in a little bit for the card swap. It was loads of fun. I try to do that once a month. I open it up to my team members that want to participate, and then they bring their cards and we swap and we talk about, you know, what was behind it. Hi, Sue. Thanks for joining me. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera around real quick, and we'll go over some things that are going on in Stampin' Up!, and then I'll show you the card swaps, and then I'm going to show you how to create the card that I entered in for the card swap, okay? So give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and swap it around. Hi, Diana. Thanks for joining us today. Let's see here. Like I said, I'm always afraid I'm going to accidentally turn everything off and stop the video. I did it once and I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm always afraid I'm going to do that. Let me get my lighting here. All right. So before we get started, I just want to remind you guys of a few things. So Celebration is going on. We're a couple weeks into Celebration. So this little brochure here, it's going on until 28 February. So if you look through this little brochure, you can see all the little goodies that you can get free with a $50 or $100 purchase. So be sure to take advantage of that while you can. And then the mini catalog also launched at the same time as Celebration, so you can order items from this catalog, and this goes until the end of June of 2022, okay? So, and then a cool early release collection that's coming out soon is called the All Together collection. So this is really neat. It's got a lot of dies and like hands in it. One of the girls in my team meeting said it, like, if you knew somebody that did sign language, that would be really cool. And I agree, that's a really good point. So there's black and white designer series paper that comes in the collection. You can kind of see it right there. The All Together 6x6 designer series paper. Black and white is always great, I think, because you can color it if you want to, leave it plain, whatever you want to do. And then there's the dies and the stamp set. Very cute. And then I think this is really smart. So they came out with these natural tone Stampin' Blends. So each blend is a different color. And then it's kind of cool because if you notice the different colors, like light, medium, light, it's kind of like when you look at your makeup and they have the different skin tones associated with it. That's how these blends are labeled. So for customers, you'll be able to order these beginning February 1st, and it's only going to go through May 2nd. Now, The items that will carry over are these blends. These will carry over into the annual catalog. You'll be able to get the individual packs in the annual catalog. Everything else is while supplies last, okay? So if you go over to stampcampwithjen.com and you search all together, I have all the details for what is while supplies last, what should last through May 2nd, which is the last day to order this. And then, like I said, those blends will be carrying over, okay? All right, and then my last little piece of admin to share with you guys is my free gift for January. So I'm doing something a little different. So when you place at least a $50 order, not only will you get your celebration freebies, but you get a free gift from me. And this month you get to choose what your free gift is. In the past, I've done it where I pick something and that's just your free gift. Well, now I'm trying something with, oh, I'm sorry, Diana. Join us for the replay. I don't know why that's freezing. That's a bummer. But anyway, so when you order, you'll be able to pick from these 3 items which one you want. So I'm going to do that for a little while. I think that's nice to give you guys an option instead of just saying, this is the gift, deal with it. So now you'll be able to choose. I'm going to start doing that where every month I'll have 3 different items and you'll pick which one you want out of the 3. Because I know some people, you know, prefer one over the other, or maybe, you know, maybe you like ribbon, but you don't want an embellishment, or maybe you don't need a bunch of embellishments, but you want some glue or something like that. So that'll be an option in the future. Okay, so let's get on to these card swaps. I love this so much. I love doing this, and I love seeing what everybody comes up with. So this is the first one. This was submitted by Carol Dempsey, one of my team members, and she used the Lots of Heart bundle. I think it retired last year, or was in the catalog last year, so it retired recently, but it's just so pretty. And she said she got these little pearl hearts from Joann's, and she saw those at Joann's and just thought, oh, they match perfectly. And I agree, they're very cute. So that's Carol's entry. And then this is Sharon Przinski's entry. She used the current Kite Delight stamp set, and this is the Happy and Heartfelt stamp set that's got a bunch of different sentiments. I think that's really cute. I love that stamp set. And then this paper is actually the Flowering Tulips paper, the 12 by 12 DSP. It's one side of one of the patterns in that pack. So, and those 3 you can order right now. Those are from the mini catalog. So the Kite Delight stamp set, the Happy and Heartfelt stamp set, and the Flowering Tulips DSP. Okay. And this is Patricia Holcomb. This is her card. She actually got one that was similar from a friend, and she cased her friend. So she's using the retired dog builder punch, and this heart is also from that punch, which is really cute. I just love this so much. I thought this was such a cute card, and I think it would be great for any pet lover. Okay. And then this one is from Corey Trudell. She made a wedding card, very cute. So this is, I forget, I want to say it's like the Flowering or Blooming Hearts Thinlits dies. That's what it is, Blooming Hearts Thinlits. And then she put pearls in the middle of all of her flowers here. And then the tufted 3D embossing folder is the background. And then the Wedding Wishes comes from, I think it's called Floral Phrases, a clear mount stamp set. So again, all these details will be at stampcampwithjen.com with the post that's associated with this, and you'll be able to see all the Stampin' Up! Products beneath the pictures of each card that I'm showing you right now. So those are my team members' entries, and then my entry and the tutorial that I'm going to do for you today is this card. I had like a modern Valentine's Day idea in my head, and this is what I came up with. So I'm going to show you how to make this little design and how to put this whole card together. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to see, but I do have the macrame 3D embossing folder as a little background here too. So I just love, bright colors with black. I think it really pops. And then I have these little speckles. I'll show you how to do that. And I don't know if you can tell, I made a little banner for the bottom there too. So very fun. So I'm going to show you how to make this right now, okay? So let's get started. So I have, let me get my stuff here. I have my little packet of goodies all ready to go. My card base is 5.5 by 8.5, and I always score it in the middle so it's easier to fold. And we'll just get our bone folder and burnish that. Oh, and the colors for the card are obviously basic black and basic white, but we're going to use Gorgeous Grape and Magenta Madness, which is my favorite Stampin' Up! Color. I love it so much. Okay, and then I took a piece of basic black that's 4 1/4 by 5.5, so it's the same size as our card front, and we're going to take this and run it through our macrame 3D embossing folder. So I don't know if you guys know this, but you see how there's this little line here at the bottom of the folder. So if you take your cardstock and you line it up against that line right there, that's a good way to make sure that your paper is straight in the folder and that your design will come out straight like it needs to be. So we have it straight right there, okay? So now I'm gonna grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. Oh, I'm gonna zoom you guys out so you can see what I'm doing. Hi, Roberta, no problem, thanks for joining. So Roberta, I know you missed the card swap from the team meeting. I just showed those in the video so you can watch the replay after we're done, and I'm going to post all the details on my blog tomorrow as well as far as what was used in each card, okay? All right, so I'm used to using my #1 plate, my 3D embossing folder, and then the gray plate is the #4 plate. And that's the sandwich for any 3D embossing folder. And we're just going to run this through. Okay, and now we have that beautiful tufted 3D design. I love this. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite embossing folders. All right, let's fold this up. And I'll zoom you guys back down here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do to adhere this, I'm actually going to take my Stampin' Seal Plus and right on my card front, I'm going to go all along the edges here. Whoops, it's coming off of the spool, so we're just going to take our finger and guide it back on there. Now, the reason I'm doing this on the card base and not on this embossed piece is I've always noticed that whenever I try to use Stampin' Seal Plus on pieces that are already embossed, or if I get too close to the edge, it'll rip the paper. So I find if I do it on the card base and then put the embossed sheet down, it works a lot better, so I don't run the risk of accidentally tearing my paper. So I'm just gonna line, it doesn't really matter how you do it, whatever way is easiest for you, but I'm going to line the edges all the way on one side. I'm going to line them up, and then you should be able to lay it flat down. Just lay it flat right there. And it might be a little bit long. I think when you press it in that embossing folder, it kind of stretches the paper out. So if it's a little long, you can just take your paper snips and go along the edge of your card and trim that little bit of excess piece off there. Like that. And because it's black on black, if you can't get it perfectly straight, it's not a huge deal. But just be sure when you put that Stampin' Seal Plus on there that you put it really close to the edges, because you don't want your layer to lift up on the sides, okay? All right, so now we're gonna put that to the side. And then we are going to take our Magenta Madness pieces and our white piece, and we're going to work with these next. So I have 2 Magenta Madness pieces, and these are 1 inch by 5.5 inches. And then this basic white piece is 2 1/4 by 5.5 inches, okay? So first let's work with our Magenta Madness. So we're gonna take the penned flowers, and there's this little like scallop border die right here. We're gonna take this piece, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna line this up right along the edge of our Magenta Madness piece, and we're gonna die cut both of those, okay? So I am actually gonna grab my Big Shot for this because I still have a magnetic plate for my Big Shot. I still don't know when Stampin' Up! Is gonna fix their magnetic plate. I haven't heard any word about that. As soon as I do, I'll be sure to let you know. But until they fix their magnetic plate, I've just been using my Big Shot whenever I need to die cut anything because I like that the magnet holds my dies in place. So we'll just die cut the 2 of these. And then you have this big section down here, and that's what we want because we're going to use this to adhere these border pieces to the back of our basic white strip. All right, so then we're just gonna do the same thing with our second piece here. So what's everybody up to? Did you guys have any fun weekend plans? My husband's cousins came down from Georgia, and it's funny because his cousin's name is Jennifer Roke. We always laugh. We call each other twins, and I tell her she's the original Jennifer Roke. I mean, we look nothing alike, but because of our names, we always laugh about that. And actually, my husband's aunts confuse us a lot of times in their phones. I'll get calls for her. They'll think that they're calling her when actually they're calling me. It's kind of funny. But yeah, they came down and we went out and tried a nice new seafood place, and then we went over to my in-laws where his cousin was staying, and we saw them for a little bit, and they went to Disney to celebrate their birthdays, and that was really cool. We're so lucky because Disney is only like an hour and a half from here, so we can go to all the amusement parks and, you know, do like a day trip out of it. It's really cool. So all right, so now I'm gonna grab some scrap paper here, and I'm gonna take my 2 1/4 by 5.5 piece of basic white, and I have the dark basic black Stampin' Blend. Now this little technique is really fun. What we're gonna do, oh, 2 Sue Steffens. That's so funny. All right, so we're gonna take the brush tip of our basic black, and what you wanna do is you wanna put it in your cap and push down towards your paper, and when you do that, it'll make, I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit, it'll make this like speckled effect on your background. So if you like that grunge look or just want to give your paper some sort of dimension and something different, that's what I like to do to give the background just something so it's not plain and boring. So obviously you'll see here it makes your cap look really messy. I don't really care about that, but if you're worried about that, maybe you want to find a stamp to use instead. And it does kind of tear up your tip a little bit. You'll see mine is getting a little broken down. It does, yep, Sue, that's what I was just saying. You read my mind. So it does break down the nib after a while. So again, if you're worried about the cap or you're worried about the nib being broken down, then you can find a speckled stamp. There's a lot of them in the current stamp sets, but that's kind of a quick effect that I like to do. So, and it dries really fast because they're alcohol markers. They dry in like 30 seconds or less. So you don't have to worry about getting it all over your fingers or anything. So, all right, so now we can put that away. And also, as you can see, it's very messy. So when you do it, try to make sure you don't have a bunch of stuff laying around that you might accidentally speckle with black ink. You don't want to make that mistake. All right, so now I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal, and I'm just going to put a little strip on the little border piece, the Magenta Madness border piece. Now, I'm going to try to see if you guys can see. You see there's this little divot from where, not the stitched piece, but there's like a little indent from where the dies hit the paper. So I'm actually going to use that as a guide to line up my basic white so that it's just under that stitched piece, okay? And that'll make sure it's straight and even. And then we'll just press it down. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Hi, Barb. Thanks for joining us. If you get a chance to check out the replay, Barb, I shared some team challenge, some card swaps that I had with my team this month. I challenged them to make a Valentine's or love-themed card. So I have a couple extra card inspirations when you watch the replay. And then if you head over to stampcampwithjen.com tomorrow, I will have all of the Stampin' Up! Products that they used for each of the cards listed in my blog as well. So be sure to check that out for some awesome card inspiration. These ladies are so talented. I love seeing what they come up with every month. We're going to do another one here in a couple weeks for our February team meeting, so that'll be really fun. All right, so now this is that little border piece, just like we have in here. So now we can take this and apply it to our card base. So you can make it right in the middle. I actually like it a little bit higher up, so it's not exactly in the middle. You can see this section is a little bit bigger than this section, but do what you want. You could do it in the center or do it a little further up like I did. And again, just take, well, I don't need Seal Plus. Well, maybe I should use Seal Plus because it's an embossed layer, so it's got lots of ridges. So I'm going to use the Seal Plus actually to get that good hold. And then I'm going to make it so it's about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch from the top here. Probably more like 3/4 of an inch. And we'll just stick that on the front. And then we'll set this aside while we make our hearts. Now, we are going to use our Stamparatus for this one. And this is going to be really fun. So, a few things to go over with the Stamparatus. Magnets. I actually am so terrible. I broke one of my magnets right after I got this thing. And I just see, and I almost pinched my finger right there. These magnets are so strong, and they will go together really fast. And that's actually how I broke this magnet. Was I put them down right next to each other on my desk, and then they crashed into each other, and this is how I broke this one. So I'm actually going to throw that one in the trash, and I bought a second one, a brand new one. And what I do for my magnets, besides try not to put them right next to each other, is you want to, what is this? Oh, so Stampin' Up! When you get new magnets, this is how they look. And we're going to try, oh my gosh, can't even get these off. I've never, okay, helps if we look at our little sheet here. That's just the warning. It comes with 2 magnets in here, but this one is like wedged in here. Let's see if I can get this out somehow. Maybe that's not a good idea to use that thing either. Okay. Oh, they're stuck to each other with a little piece separating them in the center. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you guys have ever done this before, but it's stuck to something in here, which is probably a good idea, so it's not going to move around on you, but I'm going to stick that back in there. Okay. So now we have our magnet. And I'm just taking, this is, you can see plain painter's tape. It's been sitting in my garage forever, and I'm going to take a big piece of it, hopefully not tear it as I do it. And I'm just going to take a big piece of it and wrap it around my magnet, around my magnet so that it will be easy to grab off of my Stamparatus. If you don't have a Stamparatus, I highly, highly recommend getting one. They are awesome. There are so many different techniques and things that you can do with a Stamparatus. Before COVID ramped up, I used to teach a class just for the Stamparatus so people could see all the great things that you can do with your Stamparatus, because there's so many different techniques you can do with that thing. All right, so I'm just gonna lay my magnet right in the middle here, and I have a little pull tab on here now for my Stamparatus, okay? So we are taking this little geometric pattern. This is from one of the mask sets. I forget what it is off the top of my head, but we are going to use this pattern to blend the colors onto a piece of white, and then we're going to punch out the hearts. So let's see here. So I'm going to grab my brushes. We're going to use our blending brushes today. And like I said, we've got Magenta Madness, and we're going to get Gorgeous Grape. Those are the two colors we're using. And then I'm going to grab a piece of basic white. Do I have enough? I'm going to grab a scrap. I'll be right back. Okay. I had to cut a piece. I didn't have a scrap handy. So I'm just cutting, oh, maybe that should be bigger. All right. So I just cut a 2 1/4 inch piece off of the 8 1/2 inch side of a piece of cardstock, okay? So we're gonna take this cardstock. Now, you don't need to line it up exactly against the edge, and actually you don't want to for this, because we're gonna put it kind of off the side here, and then I'm gonna lay my template so it lines up along the edges, and I'm going to move it over just so I have a little bit of room so that I can use my blending brush and it's not going to get hindered by the spine, okay? Now we're going to take our magnets and use our magnets to hold the mask in place, okay? And now we'll just take some Magenta Madness ink, and I'm going to do, oops, and there they go. I'm going to do little sections here with the colors, and then I'm going to switch between Magenta Madness and Gorgeous Grape, and we're just going to go down the line here. And I like to kind of hold the mask in place a little bit as well. And then as you move, you can kind of readjust where you put your magnets down, okay? So keep it so it's not going to be in the way of your basic white as you're blending, but keep it close to the paper so that it'll keep your mask from shifting around while you're blending on your paper, okay? I'll just do little sections, and it doesn't have to be perfect, because in the end we're just going to punch it with a heart punch anyway. But I saw on some other demonstrators posts, they said, oh, I taught a class using the Stamparatus to hold a mask in place, and I thought, well, duh, that's genius. Why haven't I thought of that? You could just use masking tape, of course, but this is just a great way, another inventive way to use your Stamparatus. So I really thought that was cool. Okay, and we're coming to the edge here, and I'll show you what to do as you get closer to the edge. No need to freak out, not at all. And then our last little section. So as you get to the edge, try not to go over the side where the mask is. So try to stay as close as you can inside that mask. If you do go over a little bit, it's not a huge deal, but just try to stay inside the mask template while you're blending. Okay, so now, as you can see, I've got a little bit off the side, but that's not a big deal. But isn't that so pretty when it comes out? Oh, I love it. So we still need to do just a little bit more just to have enough for when we punch out our hearts. So we're just going to shift our paper down, and we're going to use this edge line and line up our mask in that little white line there. And then again, take your magnets and keep it pretty close to the paper. And then since, whoops, here we go. Actually, I can use, it'd probably be better to keep it on the paper right here so that paper doesn't move. And then since I have a little bit of purple right there, that Gorgeous Grape, I'm going to start on the inside with Gorgeous Grape and kind of use that to my advantage. And again, try to stay inside the template so you don't get too much Gorgeous Grape on your white down there, okay? Okay. Cool technique using the mask, yes. Well, Sue, not to spoil anything, but we're gonna make this card at Stamp Camp this week. So don't go running out and trying it before you come to class, because we're gonna do this one in class. Spoiler. All right, and I think I need to re-ink my Grape pad here in a little bit, but that's okay. All right, so now we've done the whole strip. Time for the big reveal. Ta-da! Isn't that so pretty? Oh, I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so now we're gonna put our Stamparatus away. We're done with that. It did its job holding our template. Now we're gonna use our Heart Punch Pack, one of my favorites, especially right now with Valentine's. I've been using it a lot. So in the Heart Punch Pack, there's a little scalloped heart and there's a solid heart, okay? So the solid heart is what we're gonna use to punch out our hearts here, okay? And then when you punch it out, that's what it looks like. And it has all those variations of color. You get that little geometric design, and I just think that is the coolest thing. And then you can include that line if you want to. I have some that are like that, or you could just move it over and get a different section, whatever you want to do. But I just love how they're like snowflakes. Everyone is different. And that is just the coolest. Okay, so we can close up our ink pads so we don't accidentally make a mess here. I'm going to close these up for now. Okay, and then I'm going to take some basic black. Let's see, I didn't grab a scrap piece for that either, did I? Oh, here we go. All right, so, and then for the basic black, we're going to use this scalloped heart punch, and we're going to punch out 3 scallops. Oh, you're excited? Good, Sue. I'm glad. I like when you guys get excited about Stamp Camp. That's kind of the point. I want you guys to enjoy it and look forward to coming every month. I hope that you look forward to it. Okay, so we've got our 3 hearts. So now you could use liquid glue. I'm just going to use seal and make like a triangle pattern on the back here and adhere my hearts to my scallops. Hearts. Okay. I need to laugh. So my son had the day off of school today and he's so bummed that he's got to go back tomorrow. He had a 3-day weekend. He's already asking, when's my next day off, Mom? And I told him, well, you have President's Day off and then you have a, spring break coming up. That's a week off. He's like, only a week? I'm like, well, yeah, only a week, but you get a lot of time off. But he just had 2 weeks off for Christmas break. So to him, it's like, oh, only a week off. All right, so for our hearts, what we're going to do with these guys is we're going to take the 2 outside hearts and we're going to adhere them flat, either with liquid glue or stamp and seal, whichever. And then we're going to take our dimensionals and pop this middle guy up and give it a little bit of height there. So I'm just going to use seal and we're going to put it pretty close to the edge there. And you'll see with our basic white strip, it fits in there perfectly. There's just a little bit of a border all the way around there, and it just looks really nice. So just keep it pretty close to the edge, just like that. And then, like I said, this center heart, we're gonna pop him up with some dimensionals right in the middle. Let me find, oh, my dimensionals are right in front of my face. I always do that. All right. And then just pop this guy up. All right, so we've got our hearts down. Now I'm going to show you how to make this cool little border, okay? So the border is actually, the stamp is from the, what is it called? Pansy Patch stamp set. It says "Love You Much" on there. And I have a piece of basic white. Let's see, what size is this? It is 1/2 inch by 3 1/4 inches. Okay, so just, you know, those little strips that you have left over, don't throw those away. You could always use them for little sentiments like this. So I'm going to take the stamp and I'm going to ink it up in Gorgeous Grape, and as best as I can, I'm going to stamp it right in the center there, okay? Now we are going to grab our Simply Scored scoring tool. I need to go run that real quick, and I'll show you how to make those banner edges real quick. All right. And first, to make the little banner pendant edges here, we're going to take the Banner's Pick-a-Punch, and we're just going to put it right in all the way to the edge and punch out that little edge there, and we're going to do that on both sides. Okay, so we've got our little flag banner there. Okay. And then, all right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our Simply Scored scoring tool, one of my favorites, and what I like to do, let me make sure you guys can see this. Okay. So for this, what you wanna do, so I like to put it all the way up in the corner, and then the next little divot in the scoring tool right outside of the sentiment, you're going to score that, and then you're going to move one over and score that as well, okay? And you're going to do that on both sides. So over here, the closest one to the sentiment, you're going to score that, and then you're going to score the one right next to it. Okay, so you'll have, make sure you can see that there. You'll have 2 little score lines on each side, okay? And it might not be perfectly straight or even, but that's okay. All right, so now what we're gonna do, you just fold those over with your fingers, okay? And you'll fold the one closest to the sentiment back, and then you'll fold the other one forward to get that little banner look, just like that, okay? So the one closest on the inside, you'll fold the whole thing back, and then the other one you'll use to fold the tail forward, okay? Just like that, and that's how you make a little banner. So we are going to put this guy right in the center, and what I did for this one was actually I took some dimensionals for the center part here, and maybe one more. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you like that technique. So we're going to have these 3 little dimensionals right in the center, and then I'm actually going to take a little bit of liquid glue, just a teensy bit, for these little tails, and that way the tails can stick on the card flat. Okay, and then we're going to pull up our dimensional backings so the sticky is exposed, and then you're just going to take it and center it over the card, and then I'm kind of pushing the tails inward just a little bit, and then you're gonna press the center down to get those dimensionals to stick. Just like that. Voila. And that is how we put together my modern day Valentine's card. Isn't that so cute? I was just so pleased with how this came out. So that's what I had for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about any of the techniques used or any of the products used today, please feel free to reach out to me anytime at stampcampwithjen.com or stampcampwithjen@gmail.com. Excuse me, that's my email. Oh, thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Robert. I'm so glad you guys like it. So yeah, if you have any questions, if you need help with anything celebration related or have any questions about the card swaps that I'm going to be posting on my blog or the collection that's coming out, the Altogether collection, please let me know. And until next time, be safe and happy stamping. Bye, guys.